Hey folks, exciting times ahead. On this episode of Cafe Chronicles, we're going to start bolting stuff to the budget cafe build.
If we're not careful, it's going to start looking like a cafe racer. Let's get stuck in. I love watching Dan work. Keep going, Dan. You're doing a great job.
Alright folks, so as it comes with project builds, we were super excited to get the frame going, so we got the frame out, we got the swing arm in. The shocks were delivered with the wrong bushings. They won't actually fit onto the mounts. We have to figure out a solution for that. So right now we can't get the shocks on the frame and attach to the swing arm and have it start to look like a really cool bike until we figure that out. So we thought, alright, we know what we're going to do, we're going to put the engine in. So we start getting out all the hardware, prepping the hardware. The plates that are required to mount the engine to the frame were still all old and rusty and dirty and horrid because they didn't make the cut for when we did the sandblasting and the painting and everything else.
Dope.
So we need to clean these up, paint these and get these all ready before that engine can go in. So that's what we're doing right now, in addition to painting a couple of other pieces that we forgot about.
And Dan and I were kind of talking off camera about this, and we were saying, like, this is kind of the behind the scenes of what happens in a build. You know, sometimes we get stuck into it on a Tuesday night and everything falls into place, and other times what happens? Everything just goes to crap.
I was going to say nothing happens and we just stand around and drink beer.
Yeah.
Let me say that again without swearing.
All right.
Nothing happens and we just stand around and drink beer.
Yeah. So many times, you know, you're waiting on a part, you're waiting on something, and I should probably stand there while I'm talking.
So saith the disembodied voice of Steve. Just start moving the mouth like a marionette.
Everything will be right, and we're supposed to have the parts. There's even been times when Dan has had things expedited, and we get here and then we just don't have the parts because they just didn't show up or something, and then we're struggling to see, okay, what will we work on? And because we work on a fixed day of the week and kind of fixed time every week, means then you're like, oh, what do we do? So it's kind of funny. Today we were going to work on the rims, and then we were like, oh, we need a certain ratchet tool to take off the discs, so we have to get that. It's just the ratchet sockets for the impact gun, so we have to grab that. Then we were like, okay, we'll start putting the bike back together. Then we had the problem with the shocks. Then we had the problem with the painting the brackets. So it's just the way it goes. And we kind of thought, you know, we weren't even going to tell you guys, but then we're like, well, it's kind of important to see it, and it is a part of the whole build. It is the kind of stuff that goes on, unfortunately. But it's what makes it fun, because you run into all these problems, and then when things actually start to come together, it's worth it.
So for now, we're taking the larger diameter thread that we ordered that doesn't fit the sewing machine, and we're using it to make hangers for painting.
Okay, new prezzies. What do we have?
5 handle.
Hey, I'm excited to see what these look like.
Me too.
Something that we had talked about, everybody, the clip-on bars that I put on my build, I didn't like them because you couldn't change their orientation so much. You could just move them up and down the bar, and you could basically move them in and out, and that was it. With these ones, it'll actually allow you to change the angle. It's kind of like a compound angle, rotate them, lots of different things. So I think this should give us like some more adjustability. What's the build quality like, Dan?
So far, so good. Yeah.
Good.
All right, so I'm just gonna fasten this in. So you can see on the opposite one here, and this is very, very important for what we're doing. They have this groove cut out into the center of this piece. So when you slide the clip-on over top of that, this bolt will actually interlock here and fit into this race, so that even without this tightened down, this isn't, well, it's moving somewhere because it's not tightened down, but it's still locked in, right? Like without this, with this having a ton of gap and this not being closed in, I still can't pull this apart. It's locked in place. So it's very, very safe, which is really important when you're doing things like this. This will clip on and we'll have to figure out the spacing. This will actually probably give us a little bit more clearance to the tank as opposed to having it this way. And then we can adjust this up or down to find a comfortable riding position, as opposed to if you get the clip-on bars that are fixed and just kind of look like that, where that clips over the shock. You could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this, but there's no up or down adjustment to fit your unique spine.
And like, it's funny because Dan and I, when we started to talk about this, I was trying to get Dan to go for the, what's the name of those bars? The, not up and overs,
just like regular drop bars.
Drop bars, yeah. That basically, you know, go and they go up and over the triple clamp and back down. They use the existing triple clamp and the existing risers. And I was saying to Dan, you know, then you can swivel them, you can move them around and blah, blah, blah. So I started kind of looking online a little bit and started to see that there were some really expensive ones that would allow you to do this. But these ones we found on AliExpress, and they were like $50, something like that.
Did you have to order them back in December?
Yeah, you know, they took a while to come in. They were like probably 6 weeks to come in.
So we got a bunch of odds and sods painted. A couple of setbacks today, but next time we should be able to put the engine in and have it look nice and pretty. Hopefully we can get the new bushings or bushing inserts or something to nicely fit the new suspension to the swing arm, and then also get the tool that we need to crack the rotors off the rims so that we can get to cleaning up the rims and making them all shiny before we slap the new tires on and do all that fun stuff.
So on the discs themselves, there's hex fasteners on there that we started to use just Allen wrenches, Allen keys to take off, but we're afraid that we're going to strip them. So what we really need is to use an impact gun with a hex attachment on there to get in there and take it off. Any of the hex stuff that we have isn't fit for a ratchet gun, so it could actually damage everything. So I'm going to get a set of ratchet hex drivers, and then we'll be able to take off those discs, as Dan said, and get good access to everything. Clean up the discs too as well, because they're a little, we have to check the thickness of them too to make sure they're good, but they seem okay. Mm-hmm. On top of that too, you'll notice that we actually cleaned up all the hardware for the swing arm, for the engine mounts as well. And we just did it on the wire wheel that Dan has. It came up really well, but we figured why put on this dirty hardware back onto the bike when it's looking so nice. So hopefully that'll be okay. For the suspension bushings that go into the eyes of either end of the suspension, we did a little bit of a trick on that in season 1 on the CB750. Check it out. I'm going to post a little bit of a link up above here, so check it out and see how we press them out. But we basically just pressed them out in the vise last time and it worked okay. I think we can do the same thing and it'll be fine. We also have to order those valve stems for the wheels that we're working on, so we'll have a full video for you guys on, you know, painting the rims, taking the tires off, putting the new tires on there and balancing them. So that's something to look forward to as well. It's funny though, you know, we thought we were going to be able to paint the rims tonight, that we were going to be able to, you know, assemble, get the engine into the frame, get the swing arm on, get steering or new shocks. And then we're like, oh no, we can't, oh no, we can't, oh no, we can't, oh no, we can't. And that's just the way these builds go. You know, you win some, you lose some. It's a war, not a battle. So, you know, the idea is that there's some battles we lose, there's some battles we win, but ultimately we're moving the right direction and we'll get there. So, hope you guys have enjoyed. It's been nice. We're seeing a little bit warmer weather, even though it's kind of May here for us in southern Ontario. But hopefully, you know, we'll be having the bike out there soon and be able to get it out in the sunshine and let you guys see it. So it's starting to feel a little bit more real for us. So hopefully you guys are enjoying too. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We'll have another video coming out for you next week. And we usually let it out on a Friday or a Saturday, depending on how hungover I am. So
Irish problems.
So look out for that. Also, we had some great help from some of you guys in the comments and emails, helping us with different issues that we're coming up with, so really much appreciated. We'll go into more detail on that in some of the later episodes. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe.
See you next time.